if you are a person that wants to grow your faith, keep your faith in college and not stray away, we have a couple tips and tricks we want to share.
And before we get to the steps that we have, it takes intention. You have to go intentionally and do this. And they may seem like simple steps. The problem with that is, yeah, it is simple. I mean, this is not the most theologically challenging episode we've ever shot. However, you do have to do it. That's the important thing.
I'm Parker.
And I'm Tim.
And this is the Rage Podcast, where today we're going to discuss how to maintain, whatever words you want to throw in there, your faith in college. For all you college kids that may click on this video, or you're a parent wanting to figure out how to keep your kids' faith in college, we have a couple tips and tricks we want to share. Tim?
Yeah. One of the things that happens is a lot of times kids or people ages, say 18 to 22, typical college age, they stray from their faith. You know, I was in college back in the mid 90s, and I know a lot. I continued going to church while I was there, but a lot of kids or students didn't, and just because it's a very difficult time, and that's unfortunate because one of the things we run into in life is you're going to make more life-altering decisions between the ages of 18 and 22 than you will for the rest of your life combined. And if you're going to do that without the ministry and the guidance of the church, you know, as your baptismal vows said you would,
yes.
That's going to run you into a problem, because now you're playing without a net, or you're doing the trapeze act without the net, and you're not looking for any guidance. You're just going with how you feel, and who knows, you may feel differently about that as you go along.
Yes. So yeah, as you said, there's several decisions that you make during that period of your life. During that time, you're in college, you're getting ready to find a job, find a career for the rest of your life, and so forth. And you're making a lot of big decisions. And how do you keep that element in your life? How do you keep that faith strong? Go ahead.
And before we get to the steps that we have, it takes intention. You have to go intentionally and do this. It's just like going to the gym. It's just like going to class. It's just like going to work. You have to be intentional about wanting to develop your faith. And if you don't take that step or make that a priority, you won't do it. There has to be a motivating factor, and that motivating factor has to come from inside of you. Because if you just think, I'll do it sometime, or do it when I'm older or whatever, yeah, maybe you will. But you're going to miss out on the importance of developing your faith during some very crucial years of your life.
Or if you think, everyone takes this 4-year break from Jesus. No, that's not the case.
Yeah,
not the case.
It is not
that's
the case.
Not how you want it to be at all.
Right.
So our first step here. This is the first step for several reasons, but it's find a church.
And that may seem obvious,
right?
but it isn't.
But let me explain a little bit about that. First of all, if your faith if you don't have the intention already of saying, well, I want to maintain my faith, well, then you're never going to find a church. You don't have that in you at all.
Yeah.
But if you actually ask the question of, I want to stay in the faith, I want to even, while I'm growing in my education, in my skill sets, I also want to grow in my faith, right? Learn more about Christ, learn more about those types of things, which again, we're supposed to our entire lives. So when we take that, you need to find a church.
And if you're going to be away from home and can't go to your home church, which, I mean, again, that situation I was in, I was able to go to my home church because I was close. But if that's not something you have, then when you get to the new place, be intentional about finding a place. Don't church hop. Don't go to a new church every week. If you have friends that are going to a church, you want to try that out, that's great. But being a part of a church is important, and it does take some intention to decide that. There may be some churches. Most churches in college towns, I know many churches in Ada, where Ohio Northern is, where I went, had campus ministries of different kinds. So, follow one of those. And if you go into a church a week and they don't seem to have a way to connect with the students, that's fine. Go try another one. But decide you're going to find something you're going to be active and meaningful in, because if you don't decide that's what I'm going to do, you won't do it.
You just won't do it.
Yeah.
So the first step, if you want to keep your faith, grow your faith during college, you have to find a church. That's just step one. If you can't do that, nothing else, you won't grow.
The fallacy that you can develop your faith without a connection to a church is just that. It's a fallacy. It's fake.
So then step 2 builds off step 1. build a church family, build relationships in that church.
And you can't do that by being the last one to show up and the first one to leave.
Yep. Don't just keep a pew warm for 45 minutes on a Sunday morning. You know, if you're going to a church in a college town, right? If you're going to a church near a college, they're going to offer, I can probably bet my life savings on this, several activities, small groups directed towards people your age and so forth.
Yeah, they're going to have ministries. They're going to have missions you can get a part of, which means get a bulletin and read it.
Yep.
Find a way you can be there some other time than Sunday morning. Again, you don't have to live there. You don't have to be there every single day.
Yeah.
But if it's going to be a part of your life, it's got to be part of your life. As simple as that. And there's nothing in it that you have in life that you only do once a week that's actually a part of your life.
Yeah. So again, don't just show up on Sunday morning and then, oh, well, I got my fix in, you know, but if you want to grow, right, in college, you're doing a growth spurt, a super huge growth spurt. You're doing all these things and you want your faith to be a part of that, then you got to find your family, find your fellowship, find people that are of a like mind and of like interests that are both want to serve Christ during college. Find those groups of people, and you can find those fairly, at least hopefully fairly easy, in a church.
Yeah. Our hope would be that many of these college towns, again, big or small, Ada was a very small town where like Columbus would be much larger, and there are certainly bigger cities than that. We'll have churches around that will decide they're in mission to the students and be able to offer things that would be appealing to students, and go connect with them. Go make friends there. You know, go meet people that you're going to go do other things with, because those are the kind of connections that last. And look, I know we said this at first, but it's still true. If you're moving to a new town, you're going away to college, important for you, but this is a good thing for everybody, is to nurture a church family relationship.
Absolutely. And then the third step was kind of already mentioned. But attend often. And here's what we mean by that as well. I know so many people that will go to a church once and then say, oh, well, that's my church. No one else knows that it's your church.
We see that a lot. You know, the people, you'll read an obituary or something, and somebody will list Wayne Street Church, and I'm the pastor here, and I've never heard of them.
Exactly. So attend often. If you find a church, be involved, be active, participate. Be there. You know, don't just say, oh, I went there one Sunday, so then you can tell mom and dad back home, yeah, I found this church. And you only been there once. Yeah. You know, attend, participate, be a part of that community, not just a person that claims they are.
Right. And because that's not good enough to just, you know, claim to be a part of a church or whatever. What good is that even?
Yeah.
And I know that's probably not something a lot of college students are concerned with, but go and be an active participant in it. So many people claim they don't get anything out of church when they only go on Christmas and Easter. You know, it's no wonder you're not getting anything out of it.
You're hearing the same stories every time you go, right? You're hearing the same events.
Yeah. Singing the same hymns. Yeah.
Yep. So those are our three steps that we have here at the Rage that we think of helping you maintain your faith in college. And not just maintain, that's the wrong word. Grow your faith in college.
Yeah. And they may seem like simple steps to say, you know, find a church, build a church family, be there often. They may seem like a simple thing to say, but the problem with that is, it is simple. I mean, this is not the most theologically challenging episode we've ever shot. However, you do have to do it. That's the important thing.
It works.
If you don't go and do this, it doesn't work, to take your word. And suddenly you end up with nothing and you don't know why. And now you're going through a very tumultuous time in life when you're defining who you are, and you're doing that without any help from the church or any direct influence from God. You can still pray, but it's not the same. There has to be a connection to a church family to help get you through some of those things.
Absolutely. And that church family, you know, also needs you, right?
If
you are a follower of Christ, then the church needs you. You know, the followers of Christ that don't go to church or you know, give up those 4 years, those 4 influential years and say, oh, I'll just pick it back up when I start my family and so forth. No, the church needs you just as much as you need the church.
Yeah. There's no reason to have to come back to your faith later in life when you start having kids and that kind of, there's no reason to have to come back to it then. You should still be there.
Yes.
And you can be through some effort, but not a huge effort.
Yeah, don't fall for that cultural lie. There's this assumption that I feel like the world preaches at people of saying, you know, you got to go out and try all these crazy new things and, you know, and be the prodigal, run away for a little bit. No, you don't. Right? The older brother gained just as much of faith as the prodigal, even though he stayed at home. Now, did it take the prodigal to come home and to do that? Yes, but you do not, I don't know where that comes from, but don't fall for that lie.
Yeah. And again, when you're pushing the boundaries and not taking care of yourself in any way, you'll end up in a place where you're gonna be sick or have anemic faith, and you just don't want that.
Yeah.
Because the time's gonna come, between the ages of 18 or 22 or shortly thereafter, where something's gonna come down the pike that's hard, and you're gonna wait until then before you want to identify God doing anything in your life. That faith is not gonna mean much to you.
So, go grow your faith in college and take these steps, and tell us in the comments if it works.
Yeah, and be connected, because it really can be a damaging thing to your life if you find yourself just floating through life without any kind of direction from the Lord. So,
amen.
Have a great week, everybody.